most respect all the dignities, scholars, students, and audience. Without taking much time, I would like to start my presentation. The topic of my presentation is on Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan, contribution on Sanskrit and Tibetan Buddhist literature. I would like to start my presentation with three topics. First one is a brief introduction of Restoration Department. The second one is on joint collaboration project, work between Government of VR and CIHTS. Translation of Kanjur Tenjun Sungum in Hindi from the collection of the Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan brought from Tibet. And third one is differences of Sanskrit manuscript numbers in between Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan list and the great Tibetan scholar Gyan Champions books. The brief introduction of Restoration Department. Restoration Department is one of the most important department of Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies. This department is taking responsibility of second major objective of this institute among four, that is, to restore ancient Indian science and literature preserved in Tibetan languages into original Sanskrit. It is not only to aim to restore the text for the research purpose, but also to revive the lost Indian culture into its original form. This is the only university in the world where such work is being carried out. In order to complete second object of the institute, a recorded standing course of advanced Sanskrit language and the restoration was started in 1980. In the beginning, three research scholars were engaged in the restoration and translation of the important texts from Tibetan into Sanskrit and other languages. To carry out this important task more effectively, Department of Restoration and Translation were formally set up in 1982. Later in 1987, Restoration and Translation were recognized as an independent department. The top priority for the restoration is given to the Buddha's teaching, Indian acharyas, those who visit in Tibet and sent in great Indian masters from Nalanda University, Virgamshila and Odantapuri, such as Ajara Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Shantirakshit, Kamalshila, Atisha Dipankar Gyan, Asanka, Vasabandhu, Dingnag, Chandrakirti, Dharmakirti, and Bhavivek, so on. Restoration Department main works: restore Kanjur and Tenjur, Tibetan Tipitaka into Sanskrit, translate and editing the Buddhist canon, a light subject of the ancient Indian and Tibetan masters' works into Sanskrit, Tibetan, English, and Hindi. To conduct teamwork, critical editing of Sanskrit and Tibetan ancient manuscripts, to compose research texts and articles, to conduct and attend international and national seminars, workshops, symposiums, conferences, and local meetings, to guide research scholars and PhD students. The scholar of this department work in collaboration with Indian Sanskrit scholars. To restore the text into Sanskrit, the scholar of this department work in collaboration with Indian Sanskrit scholars. This is a well-known tradition coming from the 8th century in Tibet, when these texts of Indian culture heritage were first translated into Tibetan from Sanskrit. It was compulsory for a Tibetan translator to work with an Indian Pandit as a subject expert. Abiding by that tradition, this department is also working with Indian scholars who are well versed both in Sanskrit and in Buddhist philosophy. The members of this department are fortunate to work with late Professor Gyan in initial stage, and later with renowned Buddhist scholar late Professor Ram Shankar Tripathi, the winner of prestigious President Award and Padma Shri, and with Professor P.P. Gogleji. Preservation of Buddhist literature in Tibet. In 8th century, an extraordinary translation project was initiated at Samye Monastery in the Tibet, supervised by the great Indian scholars. Shanti Rakshita, a dedicated team of the scholars work fearlessly to work Buddhist Sanskrit treatises available in Tibetan language. The huge corpus of the literatures were translated during 4 centuries. When in 13th century Buddhists disappeared in India, their works ensured that this knowledge survived in the Tibetan as its new custodian. A huge Bodhi Sanskrit manuscript got lost in the course of time. Hence, CIHTS took up the responsibility to restore the lost text as a major project of this university. So far, more than 80 texts has been restored and published. This is less than 1% of the works that are extant in Tibetan translation. I am not going to read out the meaning of the Kanjur and the Thankjur, but shortly I would say that Kanjur means teaching of the Buddha, that which is available in Sanskrit, mostly in Sanskrit, which is translated into Tibetan, that is called Kanjur. Thankjur means the Indian master's works, that which is translated into Tibetan, that is Thankjur. So in Kanjur, it has around 108 volumes and 1,500 sutras. And that one is categorized with the subject of division is 10. That is Vinaya, Prajaparamita, Avatansak, Ratnakut, Sutra Tantra, Partantra, Dharani, Kalachakra, and Suchi. 10 divisions. And thank you, I have already said. And that one is division into 18 subjects. That one is Sodragan, Tantratika, Prajaparamita, Madhyamak, Sutratika, Chitamatra Vidama, Vinaya, Jatak, Lek Parikata, Pramana Shabda Vidya, Chikitsa Vidya, Shilpa Vidya, Nidishastra, Vishab Vidya, Adisha Grand Sankara and Sujilipi. So, in Thankjur, there is around 214 Poti in Dege and 3,238 texts. Returning to the part of the Indian legacy, around more than 5,000 Sanskrit texts were translated into Tibetan language since 7th to 12th century by Tibetan Tibetan translators. Unfortunately, most of the original Sanskrit texts were not available except few of them. Our university is taking responsibility to restore those lost texts into back translation. The Tibetan translation were so faithful to Sanskrit original. This lost part of the Indian legacy is today being returned to its former glory. When scholars have compared the restored translations to the surviving Sanskrit original, they are amazed at how the substance of the meaning of in each and every word has been maintained as if the Sanskrit Buddhist text had been coded into Tibetan. For example, returning loss of part of the Indian legacy. For example, Namastare, Ture Vere Tuttare, Bhava Nashini, Ture Sarva Artha Tatare, Swahakare, Namas Astute. When you see these verses, and when you see the Tibetan translation, which is accurate as it is quoted, then they should be Gandhi legionalist Koshabeke, the Tremendous Vastava, Didang Odil, Pugu Juni, the Petagon, 6 Jimichin, Kamaman Shuja, and it's not Jimichin Sujura, the Shredding, the Pebeke Casity, and a legend to Bushers, Peserci. Then Odi, the peasant Kushi, some Shumache. That the name Charles Chavjara, for example, the lost part of Indian legacy trade have been returned to its former glory. For example, here, when you see in Tibetan, that text is, we have got partial, most of them lost. Now, how we have restored, for example, you see here, some gentlemen, Membala, Jumden Digi Chirchi, Chidaramilon Lavado, the Jenchone Shabatas, when you see here, Chidaramilon says about the Sanskrit Ragiore, Labadu, the Jenchone Shabatas, the Ragiomare. Then was it by Charles Chevikaso, with Satvanam, Al Papunyanam, Pakman, Kim Karishati, this Sanskrit Ragiore. Jat and Desaja, and the Nage and Magi, Tabadu, Ragiomar, this and Sanskrit, and answer this and Chesajo. The second stroke, from the Jat there, the rest of the words are not available in and Sanskrit, so we have restored that part. Jat and Dastaro Revam Ratnotam Nipatanam. So this kind of works we are doing on. The process of restoration, the selection of text from Tibetan Tripitaka, Kanjur and Tinjur, first one. Second was critical editing of text comparing the 4 canonical editions, such of the references of the consigned text from various sources. If the text is partially lost, restoration of the lost part is done during taking into the vocabulary and the style of the authors found in the extant parts. If the text is completely lost, the other works of the author are made in basis of the restoration for vocabulary and styles. Restoration of text is carried out maintaining the precisions of both thematic and literal meaning. Thereafter, the work is placed before an expert Sanskrit who is well versed with the context as well as analyze the restoration work. Hindi and English versions are provided if necessary. Thereafter, comprehensive research basis introduction is provided. An appendix such as bibliography, index, glossary, extra are also provided. Finally, camera ready copy is ready for the publication. इस तरह से हम लोग ये पुनः उद्धार कार्य किया जाते हैं. So these are the examples. For example, Vimalkirti this Sutra we have critically edited with translation and read with this text and restoration members. We have critically edited and published. How we are doing work like this, group working our members with translation and read with this text members and our department's staffs. And this is also Mool Madhyamika Karika, Buddha Balita Sanskrit manuscript. We have also worked on 2 different chapters. It was published in China, but it was not complete. It is just dolomitic editions. We have completed with restoration. Those parts are not available. So this is how we are doing work. So far, how much work we have done: restored, translated, and critically edited, publication and ongoing project. Restored, translation, and critically edited by restoration departments 10 books, 25 texts, and translated and critically edited by restoration department 20 books, 35 texts. And restored, translated, and critically edited by others departments such we had it as 15 books, around 30 texts. Team for publications around 5 books, ongoing projects 12 texts. So this is the profile. Now second is a joint collaboration project work between the government of Bihar and our institute. Translation of Kanjur, Tinjur and Sungbum into the Hindi from the collection of the Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan from Tibet. First agreement meeting with the Bihar government 2017. On 16 July 2017 at 4 p.m., a meeting was constituted under the General Secretary of the Art, Culture and the Youth Department, Government of Bihar and the Vice Chancellor, CIHTS, and 7 more members had unanimously agreed to translate the published Kanjur, Tinjur and Sungbum into Tibetan language, which is preserved in Patna Museum, was brought from Tibet by the Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan. The meeting has agreed on 14 points to carry out this project and signed by 9 members. Joint collaboration memorandum with the CIHTS, Sarnath and Art, Culture and Youth Department, Committee Bihar. A joint collaboration memorandum was signed on 27 June 2019 with Art, Culture and Youth Department, Government of Bihar and CIHTS to translate Kanjur, Tinjur and Sungbum into Hindi language, which is preserved in Patna Museum, was brought from Tibet by Maha Pandit Rahul Sankrityayan. Some of 57 texts were selected from Kanjur, Tinjur and Sungbum and distributed to 29 scholars all over the world. 21 texts Hindi translation work has been done and ready for publication, but unfortunately, Bihar CM, Sandesh and publication budget has been not sanctioned till date by Bihar government. Around 29 translation works is on final stage and 7 texts, 60% work has been done. So so there are 5 books are ready for publication. These are 5 books. And I would like to say in detail, for example, first book is about Kanjur, where it is mentioned 3 sutras, Karam Vibhang 2, and Karam Vibhang Nam Dharma Grantha. This is in the first book. And the second one has 6 commentaries on Prajaparamita Hirdaya from Tinjur. And third book is on Dibankar Acharya Shri Gyan Virajita. 8 texts, Charagiti Virdi like this. This is ready for publication. And third one is Madhyama Alankar Karika, Madhyama Alankar Virdi, Madhyama Alankar Panjika. And last one is about the Tantra text, where it has mentioned about 21 different texts. For the uniformity of the translation, theme and style have been organized a 2-day national workshop on the translation of Tenjur and Sungbum into Hindi from the collection of the Mahabharata of Sankrityayan brought from Tibet was held on 13-14 January 2020 at CIHTS. This workshop was jointly organized with the Art, Culture and Youth Department, Government PR and our university. The 2-day national workshop conducted jointly by the Restoration, Translation and Buddhist Text Department. A 2-day national workshop on translation of Tenjur and Sungbum into Hindi from the collection of the Mahabharata of Sankrityayan brought from Tibet was held on 13-14 January 2020 at CIHTS, organized jointly by the CIHTS, Sarnath and Bihar government. During that occasion, most of the research department members have delivered a talk on critical edition, translation, and the way of researching the source and how to apply the notes of the different canonical editions. On the behalf of our department, our formal head, Professor Lobsang Dorjee, has delivered a lecture on critical editing of Tibetan texts, and myself has given presentation on method of researching the references and how to apply the footnotes. And the late Acharya Gyan has chaired one session. The conveyor of the entire workshop was carried out by the Acharya Gyan. So this is some photos. We have national workshops conducted from 13 to 14 January 2020. So there are some pictures, photos, how we have worked with Partner Museum, and we have worked on the Sanskrit manuscript and Tibetan collections brought from Tibet by Rahul Sankrityayan. So here you see how we have worked during that occasion. These are some photos. Collaboration project work with PR government. That one is in 2013, 31st March to 4th April. A group of research scholars visit manuscript survey at Partner Museum under the collaboration with project work with Bihar government. 18 December 2014, a group of scholars and 2 students devoted to Patna Museum to help for scanning and digitization of all the manuscripts brought by Rahul Sankrityayan from Tibet. 2 11 students of our institute stayed there a few months for the preparation of a catalog to identify the title of the Tibetan text, counting of the Tibetan Buddhist page numbers. But I am very sorry to inform you that all they are not satisfied the payment of their salaries as they have accepted, we are not given. So आप लोग हैं 2 लोग वहाँ काम किए, यहाँ से छात्र लोग गए, यहाँ से करीब 4 महीना वहाँ रहे. उस समय उन लोगों ने बहुत मेहनत की है और सभी डिस्चार्ज किए, लेकिन प्रारंभ में जो उन्होंने जो राशि देने की बात की वो बाद में दिए नहीं गए. 1-2 महीने का पैसा दिए ही नहीं. जो हम लोग उस समय हम लोग जो डिस्चार्ज कर रहे थे, ये सब फोटो है. एक नए बात यहाँ कहना चाहते हैं. Catalog of the text and statement of the payment given by the Mahabharata of Sankrityayan to Tibetan monastery. Didi message la di. Tendegi tera chabish durwatar di pidung nasha. Dina lo kardo shana Rahul Sankrityayan ki seishabe ki chabi yorwa. Radi konang penetu nyosha bajorwa. Di chadang toshung soisha. Dina lan peja rere pesha kazateme di. Kumachigni anake kazateme di chadang to soisha. Di bigana pidung ji shungab jungaru chingdenge dine tawas. Dine parching ji de kirantskin to chado. दी खरा हाको वर्षन रहा है, कोना फिर चाबी लुदी जब ये प्रसंग का टाइम में थे. मैं यहाँ कह रहा हूँ, यहाँ एक छोटा सा पोथी है, वो तिब्बती में लिखा हुआ है. शायद हमको लग रहा है ये गिनती शिंपे जी ने लिखा है, यहाँ से लिखे हमको लग रहा है. इसमें प्रत्येक जो पुस्तक जो वहाँ तिब्बत से ले, एक पुस्तक कितने पैसे दे, कितना भरा है, कितना पन्ना कितना है, वो सब विवरण एक पूरा 56 पेज का एक पूरा पोथी है. ये केवल तिब्बती में है. बाद में हम लोग निजाम में थोड़ा सा किए हैं, आप देख सकते हैं. उसमें देखिए जेस मुझे छाछ परखंग टेशु कमा. फॉर एग्जांपल तेंजुर पोथिल 213 है, जिसको उन्होंने 11 लिखा है, 9 लिखा है. और जो परपक जो काम करने वाले उन लोगों को मजदूरी दिए हैं 92 रुपये दिए हैं, 92 रुपीज़. इस तरह से उन्होंने एक करके लेखा जो सब इसमें दिए गए हैं. ये एकदम नया है, उन लोगों के पास है. अभी हमने 1-2 केवल दिखाने के लिए यहाँ आप लोगों को यहाँ प्रस्तुत किए हैं। ये जब विवरण है, पुस्तक कितना लिए है, कितना भरा, उतना पन्ना कितना है, एक एक पुस्तक को उन्होंने उसको लेखा जो सब रखे हुए हैं। वो पृष्ठ संख्या भी दिए हैं। जैसे यहाँ देख लीजिए, अंत में देखिए युद्धो छला चौके शोकडांग अब चुंगी और ठुकसा चेयर भी दिए। इस तरह से उन्होंने पूरा लेखा जोखा है, इसको थोड़ा देखने लायक है। थर्ड वन, differences of Sanskrit manuscript, neighbors in the between Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan and the great Tibetan scholar Gintu Chempe. Gintu Chempe da di arwa karsa Rahul Sankrityayan da Gintu Chempe kuni ge di Sanskrit manuscript pedo jorwa. Di dis chi ge phazu thung mare kansan Gintu Chempe la tengi me charya marwa. Rahul Sankrityayan kona tension da pedo jam ni dam charya Qurani chani Qurani ge de Tokyo sha jorwa Sanskrit manuscript di ko dinge share nante. There is a Malo Chachi. Mahabharata Sanskrit visit Tibet. Mahabharata Sanskrit visit 4 times Tibet. His first visit was taking place from Nepal to Tibet in 1929. He left Lhasa on 24th April 1930 and reached Kalimpong 4th June 1930. He brought Tibetan and Sanskrit manuscript around 21 balls and sent it to Sri Lanka, Colombo through boat. All these manuscripts preserved in Vidya Alankar Vihar, Sri Lanka. 신랑을 깨나시 단단하게 되고 유야 말해. 제 니산이 키네 괜찮아. 뒤집어 단단 신랑을 양한테 베베베je 이미 하고 있는 다된 데스 즉 백이나 젊은 곳이 진짜 배 신랑을 위해서는 성도 단단하게 되고 유야 깨라고 통하면서 뒤직세 과제를 하셨어요. 니바디 his second visit in Tibet 4th April to 10th November 1934 he met the Tibetan scholar Amda Gintu Chempe at Dibu Monastery. They both visited many Tibetan monasteries and got many Sanskrit manuscripts. The list of the Sanskrit manuscripts listed in their particular notes. Third visit in Tibet, 15th April to 10th November 1936 for 8 months. His fourth visit in Tibet from 18 April 1938 for 10 months. The great Tibetan master Amda Gintu Chempe joined with the Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan's second and fourth visit in Tibet. The great Tibetan scholar Gintu Chempe could not join with the Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan his first and third visit in Tibet. Therefore, number of manuscript differences in their particular notes. That they show them the Chabegi, the Kotash Dwade, the Gintu Chempe, the Tamjusek Tamayarwa, Dina Yatirta. Number of Sanskrit manuscripts preserved in Tibetan monasteries, according to Gintu Chempe, Tamjusek Tama, grains of gold tells the cosmopolitan travelers. Dinalia than the Kompa. Then company should show Compatuna, Koran, the church, I think I was the ledger getting the Talamangasha, which I'm Radova, what equals a Kundiling monastery, Sum, such a great monastery, Sumjasama, Shalulia, Chadachuni, Tana, Tubdeling monastery, she, whatever monastery, some Sasumto. Total Sanskrit manuscript, the judge of the Gintu make them just like Tamna Ragido. Dijidua, Dijik the Pandit Rahul Sankrityayan Tirta. According to the Journal of the Bihar and Odisha Research Society, 1938, number of Sanskrit manuscript got from 8 Tibetan monasteries of Tibet by Mahapandit Rahul. उनको जो मिले हैं उसके बारे में विवरण दे रहे हैं. कुंडलिनी से 3, यहाँ से पोखा से 6, and close रशिका से 37, मौर्य एवं मोनेस्ट्री से 134 और सक्जा गुरुंग मोनेस्ट्री से 6 और क्रिया सक्जा मोनेस्ट्री से 56. Shalom monastery 93, Tana Tubdeling is 4. So when you see here, 339 manuscripts in research in the Journal of the Bihar Research, Odisha Research Society, 1938 edition. Then now differences here. That the Kunani Parale Kabadirta, number of the Sanskrit manuscript differences in between Mahapandit Rahul Sankrityayan list and the great Tibetan scholar Gintu Chempe books, Grains of the Gold. When you see here, Kundiling Monastery Rahul has got 3, Gintu Chempe has got 3, same. But when you trace with each other, then differences is 1. Then the Chigra, Pinal Yavaka, so long Tungimedo, Rahul and Sumya Lagorwa, Gintu Chempe and Sumya Lagor, the Sumit Patu did by Paging Patu Tungimedo, Tangachipa did in our Paja, Tungimedo. As I've said, 3 is same. But when we trace with each list, some texts are not matching. There is 3 is okay, but in one place it is said 3, but texts are not matching, the title is not matching. Pokham Monastery, you see, has 6, but Gintu Chempe has not. Ngore monastery 134, Gyan is about 33. The differences are 101. 101 is differences. When you trace with each other, then they will find out for more differences. Tana Shinda the Guru Saja Guru Monastery, Dinaliat and the Kidishima Koran the Ramidwa, then the Koran the Jajumse Karsan of Nibana, and then the Tambuda Shivalaya, Tambuda Subani Charia Mara, Dijin Punika Chinsha. Saja Ganes Monastery has 56 here, and Kidishima has 35. The difference is 21. When you trace with both, here we are just giving 21, but that isn't 21. Jisakji and the Kaba Tungudua, in the page of Durdu Zamaya, Yakaka Tungudu. Minkaka Tenia, Taka Dimito. This was on the Shimchu occasion for Shadi. Shalom Monastery, you see here, 130, Rahul Sankrityayan, Kindishimbe is 112. And differences 18 here, but when we trace with each other, there are 46 titles are not matching with each other. Tanganishantana Tubdeli Monastery here, 44 is okay, not in Kindishimbe. So overall you see here, differences in 152. Here we have seen 152 differences, but when you trace with each other, then many more differences will come out. Tathamad Tarashi, Mahabharata and great Tibetan scholars, can you make some photos I have given here? Thank you so much. Kamangaji Durva, we have more 7 minutes. No? मैं कुछ बताना चाहता हूँ पटना म्यूज़ियम में जो राहुल संकृत्यायन का संग्रह जो है उसके लिए जो हमारा शासन की ओर से जो सहयोग किए गए हैं उसके संदर्भ में 2 चीज़ जोड़ना चाहता हूँ 2001 में मैं और पेमदीन सिंह डॉक्टर पेमदीन सिंह हम दोनों गए उसमें पटना संग्रहालय जो है बंद है और राहुल संकृत्यायन का संग्रह जो है बंद है तो उसमें सील लगा हुआ है तो पेमदीन सिंह हम दोनों जा करके रोज़ सुबह सील खोल करके तो ग्रंथ को संख्या ग्रंथ कितने हैं सब कितना गायब हुए हैं बैठे हैं उसको जांच करते हैं 7 दिन हम लोग वहाँ रहा 2001 में सबसे पहले उसके बाद फिर हमारे लाइब्रेरी के यहाँ से स्टाफ भेजे गए हैं वो लोग करीब 1 महीना रहा इसके बाद फिर आगे चलते गया तो उनका जितने भी संग्रह हैं जो एक वो बनाए गए हैं कैटलॉग उसमें है 1619 ग्रंथों का सूची है फर्स्ट वैल्यू वाला और कोई लोग कह रहे हैं कि 6000 आसपास है हम लोग जब वहाँ वो तीसरे बार गए 2013 में गए तो उसमें उनका ग्रंथ सब वो डिजिटाइज करने कुछ बोल रहे थे वो जो हो रहा तो हम लोगों को जो तिब्बती का जो पोथी का वो जो पृष्ठ संख्या वो उसको करना था उसमें अंग्रेजी का नंबर लिखना था तो उन लोगों ने हम लोगों को ये सब खोलने के लिए कहा तो ये पटना में जो उन्होंने 1934 के हैं देगी तिंजूर जब से लिए हैं जब हम लोग गए तब तक एक बार भी नहीं खोला है सील है उसमें याक का वो जो जिप लगा हुआ है तो हम लोग उस सील को तोड़ करके फिर वो डिटाच किया है छुआ तक नहीं है पूरा ऐसे पोती एकदम दबा हुआ है और कई पोती जो है वो वर्षा के ये बारिश की वजह से कुछ ख़राब हुआ है बाकी सब ठीक ठाक है वजह कहाँ हुआ कि ये प्रॉब्लम क्या हुआ कि वो सांस की मैनस्क्रिप्ट जो चोरी हो गए उसके लिए वो सब बंद हो गया तिब्बती में उतना ज़्यादा वो चोरी हुआ नहीं है अधिकांश वहाँ बैठे हैं हमने सब देखे हैं सबसे ज़्यादा हम लोगों ने यहाँ से उनको सहायता किए हैं दूसरा यह है कि कल जो किसी ने बताया कि शायद हमारे गुरुजी ने बताया कि अधिकांश जो पटना के म्यूज़ियम में जो ग्रंथ है पब्लिक डोमेन में है ये 100% सही नहीं है 90 के आसपास सही है 10% के आसपास हस्तलिखित का बहुत से ग्रंथ है जो दुनिया में कहीं भी नहीं है वो पटना म्यूज़ियम में प्रिजर्व है कुछ तो हमने फ़ोटो लिए हैं तो उन लोगों ने ये जो वहाँ का काम करने वाले लोगों ने क्या किए हैं कि वो सब किसी फ्रिज में डाल करके बोला कि ये गुरुजी ये बहुत पुराना वाला है हम लोग उसको सुरक्षित रखा है और आप बताइए ये सब क्या क्या करना है तो हम लोग वो पोती बनाया पोती को उसको टाइटली बनाया फिर उसको लपेटने वाला कपड़ा लगाया सब बना गया तो हमने कहा है कि आपने यहाँ जो डाला है वो तो सही है वो तो बहुत धरोहर है मैनस्क्रिप्ट है, बहुत कीमती है, लेकिन जो मेन जो आपको जिसमें डालना चाहिए वो डाला नहीं है। वो मैनस्क्रिप्ट का जो संस्कृत पांडुलिपि जो है, पिक्चर में जो है, वो फिल्म में जो है, नेगेटिव में है, वो सब एकदम साइड में फेंक दिए हैं। तो हमने कहा कि ये तो असली होता यही है, इसी से हमने ये बनाया कंजूर तिंजूर। आपने वो वहाँ छोड़ करके हम लोग तिब्बती वाला उसका अंदर डाल दिए हैं, कम से कम उसको अंदर डाल दीजिए। मैनस्क्रिप्ट जो नेगेटिव से है, क्योंकि वो आपस में चिपक गया है। आपने बताया, शास्त्री जी ने बताया, सही बात है, पूरा आपस में चिपक गया, जो कि अक्षर सब खराब हो जा रहा है। तो हमने कहा कि उसको यहाँ अंदर डालिए। वो हम लोग बाद में दिखाया, पहले शुरू में नहीं दिखाया। और मामला जितना भी हुआ है सब उसी में हुआ है, संस्कृत मैनस्क्रिप्ट की वजह से हुआ है। वहाँ से कई मैनस्क्रिप्ट वहाँ से चले गए हैं, उसकी वजह से वहाँ पर दिक्कत हो गया था। बाद में तो सब ठीक ठाक हो गया। अब अभी जितना भी है वहाँ हमारा संस्थान को वो बनाए करके, समझौता करके भी जितने भी मैनस्क्रिप्ट है, संस्कृत मैनस्क्रिप्ट यहाँ आ चुके हैं। अब हम लोग धीरे धीरे छाप रहे हैं, तो अभी आप लोग को सब देखने को मिलेंगे। कई ग्रंथ अब निकल चुके हैं, इस साल कुछ ग्रंथ निकल रहा है। तो ये सब आप राहुल जी का जितने भी कलेक्शन है संस्कृत में अधिकांश आना शुरू हो गया है। यही बनाते। थैंक यू।